Good morning and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Lazer Grand Arena. We've got a pretty giga banger of a matchup here for you today after that pretty banger matchup we had actually between Tebi and Nope KGK. Tebi actually coming out on top there by about 600k, which maybe not just from names alone you would expect to be the outcome. I think Nope KGK quite a you know, a veteran, as some would say. I'd say in the South Korean OWC roster especially, he's kind of put up a lot of scores for their country. So actually going out of the tournament, as that was a single elim matchup. But this time around, we're going to have aknzx versus xootynator, which is one I'm very much looking forward to. I think coming into it, xootynator probably going to be the underdog for this matchup specifically, just because of the format we have. aknzx very well-rounded on a lot of different skill sets, and that's going to bode very well with this format. But enough of that, I am Mavs, and joining me today, it's going to be none other than Mr. Sad Shiba. How are you doing, my brother?
Hello, how's it going? What is up, Mavs? Another Mav Shiba masterclass coming in this match.
Yep.
Yeah, and what a banger, really. Like, we have some really intense matches throughout this tournament. I'm going to be a Coco and Enri as well on the B stream, so feel free to check that one out if you are interested. Really exciting matchup there as well. But aknzx and xootynator, another really exciting matchup. I think, although, like you said, they're both quite well-rounded players, the format is going to be a little bit more difficult for Zooty. So safe to say, I think the majority would think here that Zooty might be a bit of an underdog, but I definitely would not count her out. She's very versatile still and very volatile in 1v1 tournaments in particular, able to just pull incredible scores out of the bag out of nowhere. And I see a few skill set clashes with this as well. Both players really powerful on aim, really powerful on hard rock. You're looking at those potential skill sets to really clash a lot here. But the differences are really in aknzx's normal versatility and xootynator's hidden prowess, which seems to be the big outliers here, as well as speed, of course. aknzx, really worried about that. General mechanics is something that xootynator wants to avoid with this play, because if there's anything that aknzx can abuse, it is that raw speed and raw mechanics.
Yeah, the speed is going to be a scary one. When you're in a format like this, you cannot afford to let your opponent get like a 1 mil FC and you struggle to put up a 400k on something like that. Especially when we start getting into the later pool now. You know, it can be really difficult. And that DT2 Tarot, absolute classic of a tournament map. I think a lot of the maps in this pool, very much classics. I think if you've been around in the tournament scene for the past, 2-3 years, you've probably seen a lot of these maps before. And this time around, we're just having them and some of them back in just with rate changes. Things like Tarot on that DT2. We've got things like Theocracy on that DT4, which is like the high AR DT, also another classic 20 map. Things like Grin on the hard rock as well. Bestrafung on the hidden 2. We got a lot of classics in here, but yeah, the bans coming out early makes a lot of sense. Zooty takes the speed out, and of course, aknzx, he is going to take out that low AR reading. That Mad Piano Party is a brutal map, but it makes sense. As much as I think he can still play it pretty capably, it does make sense to just take that one out and take that one away from Zooty. I think that one's probably going to be the biggest score gap for aknzx to go down to.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between the situations of both of these players here. Zooty has a really deadly weakness, especially with this format, like you mentioned. Score difference is majorly going to impact her. It's not going to be one of those things where she's willing to sacrifice a point and just carry on with the match. No, the bigger the loss, the more deeper the hole you'll be in. And that's why it's a little bit scary for Zooty, especially with these picks coming up with the DT1 and DT3 from aknzx. aknzx, like you said, flexible enough to be competent on some of these maps, but having a few weaknesses that aren't as severe as Zune's, which makes this a bit more on the back of Zooty, which is why this format is a little bit more dangerous for her. But you can see these picks instantly reflected here. Zooty wants to abuse that skill set as much as physically possible. Bestrafung and Shadow Castle picked up for Zooty, both hidden maps, one of them being reading and one of them being wiggle aim control. I think a skill set that Zooty is very powerful on, so I think Shadow Castle is going to be one of those really exciting maps for Zooty. And for aknzx, like we said before already, DT1, DT3, easy maps here for him to lead into. None of the normal maps here picked just yet, but the bans are still coming through here. I'm looking forward and quite eager to see the next picks to come up after the second ban stage.
Yeah, and speaking of the next ban stage, it looks like aknzx is going to be taking out aim here against Zooty. Actually, I mean, it does make sense, banning out Zooty's probably one of her best strengths in her skill set, which is that raw aim, but aknzx, he's very capable on aim, so That goes to show you how, I guess, he's a bit afraid, I think, of the Zooty aim diff here. It definitely makes sense. I think coming into this match, you expect Zooty to not be the underdog. Obviously, she's got a lot more tournament performances under her belt, a lot more prowess just in the 20 scene in general. Akn's more of an up-and-comer, but just like we said with this format in particular, the way Akn's has been looking, number 2 out of the qualifiers, the versatility he has, it's it's going to be a tough one for Zooty, but he does go ahead and get rid of her, I would say, most comfortable skill set, which is that raw aim and those hard rock one and that no mod one. So definitely, saying to Zooty, I see you. I am afraid of your aim, and I don't want to verse you on it. So
yeah, one player very much to be feared on the raw aim. Number 1 on the no mod 1 in the qualifier stage. So safe to say, if there's any skill set that aknzx has a reason to be fearful of, it is xootynator's aim. But Torioka Hidden 1 picked it for aknzx, a map that I was really unsure of what the strategy would be for either of these players, as they both build in those hybrid skill sets here. xootynator very, very well known for being arguably one of the strongest non-reading hidden players in the game, period. And this Torioka map, mapped by Jonathan LFJ, widely known to have a lot of mechanics in there applied as well, with high BPM aim, with some really difficult mechanics heavy patterns. So it's a matter of whether or not aknzx is willing to take that risk and go into that mechanics heavy map with that hidden as a little bit of a question mark for xootynator to maybe pounce on. So I'm excited to see that one. The Hard Rock maps also are still open here for xootynator. Hard Rock 2 and Hard Rock 3. Potential options here for Zooty to lean into, especially because both of them are quite precision heavy. Hidden Hard Rock 2 in particular, I was thinking for to potentially be a good map for Zooty. It's flow aim heavy, very powerful flow aim player, and because of xootynator has that iconic playstyle of being full area on a giant tablet. Precision is one of those things that, despite maybe her mechanically not being too well on, simply her setup makes it instantly a benefit for her to maybe lean into, especially as those picks start to run out. You've got the ult aim control hidden 3, normal 3, and the Nelv Halgo slide attack normal 4 left open as well.
Yeah, the hidden 1 pick from Akn's definitely interesting. I think possibly targeting the fact that the map is 256 BM with a few streams in it, or a couple like short-ish streams and bursts, but it's nothing that's going to be out of the realm of comfort for Zooty. She's still going to be fine on the hidden 1, so kind of players like meeting in the middle, I guess, on their comforts. It is a lot of aim consistency, but there also is a little bit of that speed aspect and a bit of higher just BPM in general. So I think a bit of a coin flippy hidden 1 there, I would say. But yeah, Zooty actually opting in for that no mod 4, like you said, goes for Nelv, the tech pick here. So again, makes sense. Zooty very, very prominent on tech maps in general, always very consistent. But again, Akn's also going to be there to, kind of make things close, I would expect. A lot of these later picks, I think, are going to be relatively close. You expect these early picks to go, I'd say, the way of the people who pick them. I think Akn's probably going to come out with a bit of a lead after these first 4 maps, if I had to guess. But I do see Zooty probably taking those 2 hiddens in terms of score difference. But we'll have to see. I think things will start getting spicy towards the end, on the contention that Zooty can keep up with some of the score disadvantage on those DTs early.
I mean, what makes this format so exciting is that, you don't have to win the map to make a giant impact on yourself, right? It's more about how one-sided those victories can be and how much you can mitigate those losses. If these first 4 maps being played are one of those maps that you look at and you think, yeah, no, these are very favored towards each player by one individual pick. It's one of those things that you look at, you think best of fun, you think, yeah, xootynator easily wins this. You see DT3, yeah, aknzx easily wins this. But really what matters here is how much can they mitigate that disadvantage. We know who's going to win them, but that's not how the format works. This is a cumulative score. So it's really a matter of, who the one in the back foot chokes the hardest, right? And those first opening 4 picks are really exciting, and that's what makes the next picks afterwards, which are a little bit more uncertain, even more exciting. That's when it's going to really matter on how close it is, because both of these players are very capable of winning on both of those picks.
Yeah, it's something I was discussing as well, like last week. It can possibly affect your pick and ban strategy just with this format in specific, but enough of that. We are into the first map, and it is Bestrafung. It's going to be the low AR hidden map on that AR8. one of the 2 reading maps in the pool, but other one was banned out from aknz, so obviously feeling more comfortable on this one. I don't blame him, the other reading map is disgustingly difficult. But he does find a drop there, and that is going to give the combo advantage to Zooty. She also is holding onto that Ak lead as we approach about the quarter way on the map, so still early days. As you can see, some of these linears quite brutal, but both players looking fairly comfortable in their own regard. aknz, though, just a little bit less comfy.
Oh, xootynator hitting that entire aim section there. Able to hold on to a really good amount of accuracy and combo, not falling off during that really difficult peak there. Accuracy is much more well weighted here, so those particular string patterns there are going to be a lot more important to keep an eye on. If anybody drops a lot of accuracy, that might end up closing in the lead. xootynator, despite winning by quite a good margin in combo game, accuracy game, a solid 2% in her favor, still maintained past this halfway mark here, but still able to be shut down, especially if there's a chain miss on one of those really scary stream sections here. Linear aim is the game on this map, alongside just his general awkward style. You have to be really prepared and generally quite gifted on aim in order to hit these patterns at a consistent level. aknzx, despite putting a good effort, not able to process these patterns too well and able to miss on that combo. xootynator, despite holding on to her accuracy, does drop a little bit of combo there as well, so there's a reset in the combo game department, but it's starting to gain just a little bit in her favor. 85,000 score with that beautiful, still maintained 2.5% accuracy advantage in xootynator's favor, giving her that 85,000 score lead as we get into the final third of the map.
Yeah, it is 85k, but it is only 85k. Like we were saying before, it is going to be total score differential at the end of things that matters. Zooty is going to have to try and hold onto a bit of a bigger combo here and build a bigger score lead, and that's exactly what she needs as aknz finds a few more drops. Make that about 4 more drops there. aknz finding some struggles in this last quarter of the map, but Zooty, yeah, she's going to have to build this score difference up even bigger. She's going to win this map, but the score difference needs to go further and further because I'm scared for her on these DTs.
Impressively hit there from her on that really difficult section, able to keep that intact for her. Yeah, I think she knows the situation that she's in. She just has to get as much score lead as possible. There's no mercy on something like this. There is no matter of, you know, a map that you don't want to play or can't play, so you just give the point away and just kind of chill and cool yourself down. You have to be on your toes throughout this entire match. There is no room for leniency, especially when it's your pick and you want to build an early momentum starter here. And thankfully for xootynator, it's working out a decent way in her favor, about 200,000 score. Ooh. And she finally does miss. She still eclipses that 99% accuracy mark, and unfortunately for aknzx, not able to rival that to any degree. Nearly a 4% difference here, which gives Zooty solid 215,000 score lead to start this off. A solid start from her. Now she has to mitigate that with the next pick coming up in the DT3.
Yeah, so now the question becomes, can aknz win this next DT pick by more than that differential? Was what, about 240k or so? 220k. So, I mean, I would probably say aknz here, he does have a pretty good shot to build a lead here on these next 2 DT picks. I do expect him to probably win this DT by more than 200k. Zooty, I think the question is going to be whether or not Zooty can put up a decent score, like, within the realm of her possibility. What can she manage to muster up in terms of a combo? But the problem here is going to be, obviously, this new laser scoring system, accuracy now means a lot. You can no longer, like, combo cheese speed maps, and that's not to say Zooty isn't capable on speed nowadays. She's gotten a lot better at speed. Like, obviously she has gotten way better at it, but, you know, combo cheesing is kind of out of the question now. Like, accuracy does mean a lot more. So I'm not really sure what Zooty's going to be able to put up on this map. So I'm expecting aknz, though, to, of course, put up a pretty damn good score on something like this.
Yeah, this is the double time roll speed map where you have a lot of these bursts, a lot of these scary patterns here, where not only do you have to hold on to that speed and stamina, but keep yourself composed in that control with a lot of these bursts just going up next to each other. Reminds me a little bit of the tweaker patterns towards the end, where you have those long streams of the short bursts and they come back and forth at you. But yeah, this is pretty traditional in terms of the speed bursty stamina maps here, and aknzx is massively on that front footing there, able to keep himself in that lead with good accuracy of 97. xootynator, sadly, already struggling immensely here. And this is one thing that we were really worried about here. That advantage needs to be from the advantage from Bestrafung needs to stay as close in a favor as possible, because this map is really dangerous and it's already looking dire for Zudin here. 80%, a 17.5% accuracy lead in favor of aknzx with the full combo still intact.
Yeah, and we're not even halfway through the map, and he's already surpassed that score advantage that Zudi built over the whole course of that first pick. And he's still just FCing. This is AR 10.7, by the way. He does finally find a break, but, you know, this kind of raw speed test and constant finger control and stamina on this AR as well. Really impressive stuff. You can see Zudi 80% on the cusp of 70, unable to hold on to much, and I mean, Aken's looking like he's going to over double the score advantage that Zudi managed to muster up on that low AR. I mean, it's just the classic aknzx skill set, really. Just one of the most prominent and confident speed players, I think, in tournament.
Absolutely, no, I agree. aknzx has proven himself to be one of the strongest mechanics players in the tournament scene, period. And along with that, just generally being quite flexible, like you mentioned. But if there's anything that you should be absolutely terrified of this guy on, it is that mechanics, that raw speed, that stamina, that aim, that high BPM aim. Such a dangerous player on that particular strength, and he's showing it in spades here. This is a notorious weakness here for xootynator, and you're really banking for her to try and mitigate something with her small gradual improvements, but it's just not going to be a strength that Zudi wants to lean into. Never, ever. And especially against someone like aknzx, it's just going to be an instant 500,000 score win. A very dominant start, and that's going to increase the scoreline massively in his favor now, from 200,000 score in favor of Zudi to 300,000 in favor of aknzx. I don't know what else to say to that. It's a really dominant start, and DT1 is just going to make that even harder.
Yeah. No, actually, AR 10.7, by the way, my bad. I was going to say that would have been actually cooked. Yeah, the sheet actually just appearing as the DT stats, so it said 10.7 on there. Not actually a 10-star map, though, as I double-checked that. Regardless, the raw speed test going heavily in the favor of aknzx, which of course it made sense, and manages to already build up a humongous score lead just off of that DT. And I'm expecting probably the same thing here on this next DT pick, but probably not as convincingly. Getting into this DT1, it's going to be, you know, there are some bursts in here that are going to trip Zudi up. I believe this one was 270. Yeah, I believe this one is 270 BPM, so there's going to be a few bursts in here, obviously going to trip Zudi up. She's probably going to drop combos on those, drop some accuracy, but I think score differential here going to be a lot closer than probably that DT3, and it's going to be on Zudi to hopefully pull back some of this score on the following hidden pick.
Yeah, I think this one has a lot higher odds of Zudi be able to contest something here compared to the last map. I think speed is one of those skill sets that you just know that Zudi is just not a player who likes speed at all. But this one is a lot more just on those individual bursts with that fast aim, and Zudi can very easily compete on this. We've seen her pull up some magnificent scores on DT1s in the past at very high skill ceiling tournaments. So I think this map is definitely one where Zudi can pull something that might be able to even up the play and even give herself a little bit of advantage depending on how this starts off. Early starts here are in favor of Zudi by about 1%, but not by a lot. aknzx is slowly climbing back that accuracy and evening out the combo game as well. Still full combos from both players as we get into the bridge before the Ki here. And it's looking good for both players so far, flipping in favor of each other with that accuracy differences here. Upon those drops on the bursts here, it's still neck and neck.
Yeah, neck and neck. That's what you expect. I mean, Zudi on a really DT aim consistency map, she is going to be pretty damn comfortable on it. It's mainly some of the bursts probably that might trip her up in terms of the accuracy, but there she goes, finds a few drops and loses a bit of accuracy on some triples. Just the comfort not as there as it is for aknzx, but still looking really good on this. Like I said, the differential here already is far and away much better for xootynator than it was on that DT3. And you can see Aken still holding onto this FC now, probably looking to carry it through to the end. One of the most consistent DT1 players, I think, period, and hits that whole section. So does Zudi. Both players tearing this DT1 up. 8 stars, by the way, I believe. So yeah, this is just incredible stuff.
That is the biggest dispike of the map there, hit by both players. aknzx does sadly miss on that final bit there on the burst, losing that full combo. But it's still a beautiful display performance here from aknzx, able to hold on to about 130,000 score, keeping it in his favor as we get into the ending of the map. The last 20 seconds to come through here, and xooty does hit that entire section there, able to hold on to a good amount of combo, past the biggest spike and past the ending spike just there before we get into the chill slowdown part as it gets into the final ending here with 5 seconds left to go. xootynator on a bit of a pop-off, closing down this score lead here, but not by enough to make any major differences here. Still 90,000 score in aknzx's favor, able to gain that lead to 400,000. And this is starting to add up now. It's going to have to be very one-sided on Shadow Castle if you want this to still be in good odds here for xootynator. As mentioned before, the Hidden 1 and the No Mod 4 very much possible here for aknzx to even pull out victories, let alone even anything out if there was a disadvantage, but there even isn't. There's 400,000 score in his favor. This has to be the map here for xootynator. She has to make this very one-sided.
Yeah, she absolutely does, but regardless, shutting down aknz a little bit on that DT1. You'd expect on paper aknz to probably come out ahead by a bit more, but doesn't pull home the FC, and xooty kind of denies an even bigger score advantage right now. It's looking grim, but it could have been looking much more grim. It's about 400k, still quite a considerable difference to make up, but it is possible here. She could just go absolutely crazy on a map like this and just find an FC. This one, of course, gonna have just relentless wiggle streams on this Hidden, and just so many different cut patterns, so much finger and aim control required on something like this. And you'll see early on already into the map, this map just kind of holds no bounds. This map is kind of brutal to hold combo on, especially in a match. You can see aknz finding some struggles early, but this is kind of just, this is xooty's. This is the money for her, man, in a tourney. She's going to just shred something like this, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got that hybrid of that high AR with that hidden applied on top, with that aim control. A player, especially with the wiggles, those micro adjustments are so perfect for somebody like xootynator. You want that precise aim movement for someone like her, and without these majorly sporadic aim patterns, you really rely on that. But, however, chain misses are still very capable here. You're able to miss on those wiggles and lose a lot of control and composure in these patterns. And Shadow Castle is probably one of the most star rating-wise underweighted maps of all time. This is 6.87 stars, yet one of the hardest maps in this pool, and you're seeing it shown here from both of our players. aknzx struggling quite a bit here, not able to build up a good combo, as well as struggling on accuracy of 95, not falling apart too majorly, able to hold on to a good amount of accuracy, but xootynator is on a whole different level here. Almost 99% accuracy now for her with that 400 combo, despite missing just a little bit earlier on, able to bring that recovery to beautiful levels here as we eclipse that halfway point here. It's up to xooty to gain this as far as she can, because there's still 300,000 score to go.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go ahead and say that she can build a 400k lead, but it's looking like she has a chance to do some considerable damage. You know, based on whether or not aknz can find a drop here soon, maybe he can find some act drops, and if xooty can just shred this final third of the map, we might be looking at 200 plus k of score difference, but so far, aknz managing to keep up. There he goes. That's the drops what xooty needed, but no! She loses her combo, maintains the accuracy though, and that is what's going to matter, but the score lead just dwindling now. It was looking like she could have built up a pretty considerable advantage, but there it goes. Only 100k in the lead, hoping now that she can build up a bit more score into this ending. It's going to be whether or not aknz can just hold on to some of this combo, some of this accuracy in the ending here, and he's managing to do that on all of these accelerating streams, all of these wiggle patterns. Both players hitting everything. xooty drops aknz now to solidify his lead just a little bit more as he pulls a little bit of that score back over into this final 10 seconds of the map.
He might be able to close it in just before that 100,000 score mark. It's not even going to be a quarter of the score lead that xooty needs to deal with. But as that miss starts to come through with that act drop as well, xooty does manage to at least get over that 100,000 score mark. So it's now been mitigated to 300,000 in favor of aknzx. But it's still a giant lead. We needed Shadow Castle to be really one-sided. And although xooty won, it's not at the level that we were hoping for if you want this map to be even out. If you're a neutral viewer, this is a tough match to look at so far. It's up to the next 3 maps to go. Yeah, I can't believe this is 6 stars. That's ridiculous to me, man. This is one of the hardest maps in the pool. Like, that's not even like an exaggeration. This is such a brutal map.
Definitely up there for sure. Unfortunately, probably won't be seeing the hardest, which probably would have been that DT4. String theocracy at 1.4x is disgustingly hard. That map is unplayable. Was banned though. So now we're going to be seeing some of this hidden one. Like we were saying, this was earlier. I was saying how this was probably the most coin flippy pick of the match. Got the elements of hidden and aim that Zooty's going to be very comfortable with, but it's at that 256 BPM, I believe. With some bursts and a couple short streams in here. So I think, you know, obviously those parts of the map are going to favor Akins. We could possibly see drops from Zooty on those patterns, but I don't think it's enough tapping from Zooty for like her to be not comfortable. So I think it'll be a close map regardless, but it's going to have to be Zooty's moment to try and get a pop-off performance here and hopefully closing this score lead just a little bit more, slowly but surely.
Yeah, Torioka, an absolute banger of a song, banger of a map as well. Captain 1's extra difficulty. 9.8, star rating a little bit more accurate here, 7.73 stars. This is your JLFJ style mechanics. Got a lot of aim in there, got a lot of high BPM burst applied there as well. Fitting control obviously has to come with that, with its rapid bursting. But on top of that, it's a consistency map as well. 4 minutes and 30 seconds long. Big combos have the potential to be built here to the degree where combo game might be the deciding factor for some of these players here. So far, so good for both sides, though. aknzx maintaining a solid 99% accuracy to give him that 3,000 score lead. As we get into the first 500 combo of the map here, full combo still set in stone here, but we are about to get into that first Ki as this bridge starts to come up. And it's up to both of them here to try and keep that on hold as much as they can. This is aknzx's map to lose here as we get into this first Ki. What are we going to see with these jumps and the burst applied through?
Yeah, and both of them looking quite comfortable so far, both on those 99 and upward on the accuracies. Zooty managing to cusp that 99%. Both players hit that section, both continuing to hold on to this combo. Of the utmost importance for xootynator, but also for Akins to solidify this lead. He's managed to hold all match. And both players, I mean, they're just looking great out of that first Ki.
This is fabulous here from both of these players. Hitting that entire first Ki pipe with that spike, with those rapid jumps and slider jumps in between. It is beautiful displays of skill here from both of these guys. xootynator able to hold on to the leading accuracy, giving her a little bit of a lead here, but not by a lot. This is still really, really close here. Akins is pulling up a great rivalry on this map. We were hoping for Zooty to maybe take this lead a little bit more, but it's not by a lot. It's by 4,000 now. And it's still so, so close. We're going to be getting into the second Ki coming up very, very soon. And it has to be one to go down soon, otherwise this is going to be really, really close. And this is exactly what you want if you're Akins right now. You have to maintain this as much as you can. The combos still remain to be full here. No breaks yet. It's all on the accuracy deciding the difference on the lead here. Another spike to come through. Is there going to be missed? No, it was Mancho. It's going to go down. It's not going to happen. They're both still holding on.
No way.
This is beautiful,
There's no way. There's absolutely no shot we see a double FC on this. 2/3 through the map in this slowdown section here. As we approach the final Ki, there's some of those bursts I was talking about, but doesn't catch anyone off guard. Akins finds a drop on almost nothing there in the next build-up section. Finally goes down. Now it's Zooty's chance. Now she has a chance to try and pull this score lead back. She's going to have to close out an FC, though.
This combo lead is ginormous here. And you see it climbing up quickly. 50,000 score climbing up to 60 already. A little bit of a control section here with those 1/3 patterns. These sliders, these bus sliders are really scary. 1/3 still hit from xootynator. It all comes down to the final Ki. It has to be now. This is the moment where you want Zooty to mitigate as much as you can. Make this lead valuable, Zooty. It's up to the final Ki. The aim ramped up to its max in this map. You can already see it. The jumps increasing the spacing. 1, 2, 3's hit from Zooty. Akins is trying to mitigate as much as he can. Still has 99 accuracy and still has 400 combo and climbing. Final jump section to come through soon. Can Zooty secure the full combo and the ending? Final bit to come through. xootynator! Beautiful stuff. 1,900 combo and climbing to the ending. The final 10 seconds of the map to come through, and xootynator might have just secured the full combo on Torioka. Is it going to close out? Yes, she does!
Wow. What a performance from Zooty on that. That's crazy to see at FC. And aknz still as well with the 900k almost. Only made it 144k difference. At the end of everything, at the end of that ridiculous performance from xooty, aknz still leads by about 150k. But that score margin, Shiba, has closed a lot. What, we were at 400k just a few maps ago. Here we sit now, 150k difference, 2 maps remaining, and we're going straight into the tech map, Nelv. And again, we're gonna have another coin flip pick here on a tech map like this. You would expect someone like xooty, very, very practiced on tech maps like this, very good in tourney on tech. But aknz, this guy has he's proven himself on lots of different skill sets in the tournament scene already. You've seen his solo rank performances. He is crazy mechanics. And something like this, I don't think it's gonna make him falter.
Yeah, Helga has a very distinct style with his maps here. It's rapid tech, lots of control with those rapid sliders, and circle tech as well. Very present in this map also. Helga is widely well known for his really scary and really uncomfortable levels of slide attack and control all around. Quite notorious for his style here. And Nelv is not going to be an exception. This was a custom map for Badly World Cup last year. And this was no slouch in that tournament, and I can imagine in this one it won't make an exception either.
Yeah, here we go. Definitely looked like a very tough map as well. And I was lancing through the pool, and as you can see, one of these high velocity sliders already early on. Just very difficult, consistent tech mapping. And xooty, again with a chance to try and pull a lead, and has to make it count as we get into the second last map of this match. xooty, she's gonna have to hold on to this combo because aknz is not looking like he's holding any shots back, but there he goes. Finds a drop early. xooty now with a chance to build this lead, and it's 40k and climbing as we're about a third way through the map already.
xooty is very capable on these slider patterns, particularly aknzx, not able to hold on to good accuracy. Lazer makes you suffer so much more if you miss on those sliders and miss-aim them even just a little bit here. But xootynator's going to collapse here, not only losing that combo, but loses a big lead in her accuracy, back down to about 2% in her favor when it was earlier on, like around 3 to 4. And with that space stream section as well, both players missing, it's not becoming a one-sided advantage like we were hoping for. Early deficit here for aknzx, almost shut down entirely. Cut stream there, hit from both players as we get into the build-up of the next section here. This is a really short map, and xooty is not building enough combo. aknz is suppressing her with this combo, and accuracy, despite leaning in her favor, it's not going to be enough score to be of major value here.
Yeah, this is looking very tense. xooty, she's got to just try and muster up as much of a score lead as possible moving into the last map, and she has the lead so far, so it's good. It's good news for her, and that's even better news. There goes aknz. xooty actually holds on through that high velocity slider. Continues to hold on this last 15 seconds on the map. No, goes down. 70k. Can she get a little bit more? Can she squeeze a little bit more score out? Looks like she can. 75k and building, but it's still going to be a mission on this last map, Shiva. But xooty, she does take the No Mod 4.
She takes it, but not by a lot. It's 70,000 score. But thankfully, I mean, look, listen, xooty's had a very tall mountain to climb since that DT3. And she's done a good job. She's won almost every map. I believe she actually has won every map since then. And has actually managed to mitigate it from 400,000 to 70. And next up is Draw Me a Map. This is a custom map for Courses Open 2023, and this was a very difficult but very fun alt aim control map with a hybrid skill set applied to it as well. It's a really difficult map, and both players are capable, but after that Nelv victory from xooty, I can't help but favor her on this. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. I think coming into this, like on paper, I would say this is again another coin flip, but so far on both of the coin flip picks, we've seen xooty outperform aknz just by a little bit. About 70k there, about 100k on that hidden one. So I'm probably expecting xooty to get a little bit more score on this one again, but the thing is, she's going to need to win by 60k or more, and that's the score difference we're looking for. 60,000. If xootynator can win this pick by 60,000 score, she is going to eliminate aknz from the tournament, the number 2 seed, and move on into the semi-final stage. But it's going to have to be 60,000 and no less.
It has to be. 69,708 score specifically. That exact score cannot be less here for xootynator. And aknzx now, he's sweating. He's actually got to really keep up here. He can't keep himself in a lax position. He's got to just work as hard as he can to keep himself as much score as possible here. A little bit of desync here from the client, but all good, all good. We're still back into it. Combo break there from xootynator. Accuracy also dead even, so giving that combo game favor in Aken's side. And as we get into the first key eye, you can see the spaced linear bursts into that awkward aim control with the space flowing there as well. This is an awkward map, but very, very control heavy. aknzx is able to keep this lead in his favor. 35,000 as we get past the first out of the map. There's only a minute and a half left. There has to be a miss here. And there it is!
And there it is. Akens finds the miss. And it's actually 70,000 difference. Math, by the way. I literally couldn't math, but it's 70,000. So it's going to have to be a 70,000 lead from Zooty. So even a little bit more than we thought. But that's the break that Zooty needed from Akens there. And now she continues to hold on. She matches the accuracy from Akens, but she does have this combo advantage. She is going to take this score lead. About a minute remaining on this one, Sheba, and she is building the score advantage. But this is going to have to be so close into this final minute of the match. Zooty has to hold, has to continue to hold, barring a complete collapse from aknzx. But she's doing it. She's continued to going. It is do or die indeed. Akens fighting her off, fighting off the advance as much as possible. Hitting these wiggles crazy when both players hit them. They're just going absolutely mental right now. And Zooty, she has a 30k lead and still building. It's barely anything left.
40,000 score left to go. Back and forth. That hit from both players. Zooty drops. No!
Oh, no!
That's a tragic miss there. And that has absolutely ended it surely here. All aknzx has to do is keep up just a little bit in the last 30 seconds of the map, and it's closing in to go in his favor. That one miss might have just spelled the end for xootynator's chances to continue here at the Lazer Grand Arena. This might be it. And it seems to be the case. 10 seconds left of the map to go, and aknzx is not allowing her to go anywhere near that score lead. As the final ending starts to encroach, it is merely 1,000 score that Zooty could pull. Less than that even. And in turn, it is the victor to beat aknzx by 68,000 score. But we thought this could have been anyone's game on this last map. Zooty had a moment to strike there. But it wasn't going to be the case.
If that wasn't a score difference format, by the way, that was like less than a 1,000 point difference. Imagine that this was normal format. That would have been unbelievably hype. That was, they were like less than 1,000 scored, you know, apart there on that final map. But no, Akens, he had that score cushion. He takes it. The newest and upcoming Australian prodigy, aknzx, takes the victory here. The number 2 seed advances on into the semi-finals, and yeah, I mean, what a match. Zooty, unfortunately, actually going to be going out of the tournament here, which is not what, you know, you don't expect to see from a player like xootynator, a very prestigious player and very, very good. And I mean, she proved herself here today, coming in as, I would say, the underdog, especially with the fact that, you know, the skill sets on this format is going to favor someone like Akens, where it's better to be all-rounder, it's better to be good at speed, but Zooty put up quite the performance on this match, I won't lie, and commiserations to her as she goes out in the Lazer Grand Arena. But again, congratulations to Akens, who is going to be moving on into the double elimination round, which is the semi-finals, and I believe is going to be going up against the winner of, is it Welter Flying Tuna? Yeah.
I mean, dude, and nothing but respect for Zooty, man. She had such a deep deficit after that double time 3 victory.
Oh yeah.
Having such a one-sided weakness is really dangerous in a tournament like this, and her being able to almost climb up a 400,000 score deficit is incredibly impressive. If we were to use the old original format on this without the score difference, she actually won in map differential 5-2.
Yeah.
And that's just how brutal and unforgiving this format is. You have to be flexible. You can't just win your maps. You have to be really dominant on everything and able to mitigate any weaknesses you have. And unfortunately for Zooty, that's what punished her, and that gave aknzx the willpower to keep pushing, even on the maps that Zooty was winning on. And yeah, congrats aknzx. Well fought victory there against a player so prestigious and so legendary in 1v1 tournaments in particular, knocking down the Queen of Canada and advancing into the double elimination stage.
by only 60,000 as well. So yeah, once again,
Good
congratulations to aknzx. And it does appear on the sheet, it's just updated that there may have been an FF from Welter. So I think it'll be Akins versus Flying Tuna tomorrow at 7 UTC. Which, I mean, that's another banger. Holy, Akins Flying Tuna. That's another crazy matchup, actually.
Yeah,
so very excited for that one. But for now, that is going to be it from us, I believe. The next matchup is going to be at 15 UTC, and it's going to be... Oh, wait. No, is that... When is that next matchup, actually? Yeah, 15 UTC, I think.
Let me double check the schedules quickly, because obviously because of potentials, we got a few confusing things to take note of.
I do believe that that's going to be our final match for the quarterfinals. We did also have Amamiya Kokoro and Enri playing at the same time, and Amamiya Kokoro did beat Enri by about 500k. So also going to be the victor for that match. And our next match is going to be at 15 UTC, and it is going to be the first match of the semifinals. Of course, we have multiple rounds in the same weekend with this tournament format, getting the whole tourney done in just 2 weekends. So it's going to be Amamiya Kokoro versus Tebi, I believe, in about an hour's time.
Yes, indeed. So until then, people, maybe go grab a little bit of a snack. You got about an hour and 20 minutes until we have our next match to come up. But thank you so much for watching Lazer Grand Arena. I hope you enjoyed this match as much as me and Mavs did. It was an absolute banger. But until next time, people, enjoy game. Please enjoy game. And we'll see you for Amamiya Kokoro versus Tebi in about an hour.